Hey guys, it's been a while since I've made a video here. I'm going to show you the Lon Humphrey Archangel, which is his newest knife. This is a pretty special knife. It's a little different than some of his other ones that he's done. This is a dagger. Well, not a dagger, but a fighter more than anything. And it's got like an actual Scandi grind on it. It's 52-100 like usual, forged. Specs on it are 10.2 inches overall, blade length 5.5 inches, thickness is 0.180 of an inch, and the weight, according to Knife Ship's free website, is 6.3 ounces. Now this is like extremely wicked looking, you know, like it's super sharp, super pointy, very stabby. It's a fighting knife. That's that's how I would classify it. It's an art. Piece of art, right? Like, I mean, for me, that's what it is. It's a purely a collectible knife. It's not so much of a knife that I would envision myself using regularly. I would carry it as a, well, I mean, you're not supposed to say defensive tool or whatever, but if you were, you know, in military or police or some other type of job where you would, you know, need to carry a knife like this, I think this thing would be just unbelievable. But it's for me, it's just, you know, the fact that it's one of Lon's knives, obviously, and it's quite special. Not that, you know, his other knives aren't, but it's definitely unique and you know, different than anything else that I have from him. I think he spent a lot more time, you know, and yeah, just time building these. A lot more work went into grinding them, grinding this fuller. I mean, everything was done by hand. It's in the typical handle scale option that I like to go with, which is the desert ironwood and the orange liners. The fullers on it are pretty darn good. I mean, I know he was saying, oh, you know, they're just about perfect. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're perfect. I've seen, you know, lots of hand done stuff that couldn't even compare to this. Like, to me, to my eye, and you know, I've got enough knives to look at and critique. Like, this is like a handmade, hand forged knife, like production forging. So I mean, he water jet cuts the blanks and stuff like that, but they're still all done by hand. I mean, he does some stuff to, you know, make his production process a little more streamlined and affordable. But like, make no mistake about it, like, this is a handmade, hand ground knife through and through, and like, it's man, it's something else. Like, you really have to see it in person and handle it. Like, it just it fits perfectly in my hand. The handle is just like, yeah, like locks up, like, and it's got a double little quillen type guard. Well, not a quillen, I guess, but a double guard. I don't know if you'd call it a quillen, because it's not like a pinned on guard or anything like that. I don't actually know what the proper terminology for that would be, other than a double guard. Not a lot to say, you know, other than it's just it's something that, for me, you know, I pick up and I handle and I appreciate, you know, the amount of skill that went into making this knife. Like, it's something that you can just, it's like a sitting knife, you know, you just sit and enjoy handling it and fondling it and appreciating what it is, knowing that, you know, if you had to put it to use, it's going to perform exceptionally well. Like, I really, I can't say enough good things about, you know, Lon Humphrey's knives and his 52-100 and the performance that he gets out of it. It's just phenomenal. But this being a zero grind, like a Scandi, is quite unique. I've never seen him do that with any of his other knives, so I don't know if he's ever done that on anything else, actually. I don't think he has. I'm pretty sure that he hasn't. I know I'm kind of rambling here, but I wanted to give you a quick look at it, just so that you guys can get an idea. I'll grab just another knife here off the shelf. This is the Spyderco NF2, kind of a goofy little knife. I'm not a huge fan of it, but just for a size comparison. These knives come with the typical sheath that he's been having made. I think they're made by the Amish. High quality sheath, thick leather. I haven't actually put it in the sheath yet. They're usually quite tight. Obviously with something like this, you got to be quite careful when seating it into the sheath for the first time. Usually what I do is I'll pull it out and I will lay the knife over top of the sheath like this. Let's try and get it in the camera view. Get a reference point in terms of how far that knife will seat in the sheath before it starts poking through and cutting stitches, because this thing, you know, you can see the tip on it, just how pointy it is. It will blow through that sheath like nothing else. So yeah, put it into about that rivet there. I got a little bit of a different camera set up here. I've got my phone set in a clamp on this little TV table. I'm not too well set up for making videos anymore since I moved a couple years ago, and I haven't been doing much of anything after recovering from a major foot injury. I'm starting to hobble around a little bit better now. It's a long road. I got like 6 plates and about 30 screws in my foot, so I haven't been doing what I've been wanting to do in terms of making videos and stuff. But yeah, I haven't bought any knives either because I don't have any money. Well, that's hopefully temporary. Slow down with not working and stuff. But yeah, what do they say when it comes to buying stuff? They got the sizzle is the devil. So I splurged a little bit on that. Just knowing that these things will probably never be made again. But yeah, let's see if I can get close-up videos. Close-up video of this. Making videos when I'm tired and been up on my foot too much today definitely probably doesn't help me speak as clearly as I normally would. But I hope this video does this knife justice. It's hard, you know, like I want to be able to be critical about something. Like I feel like if I'm constantly just raving things and being positive, that, you know, people won't take you know, what I'm saying seriously, just about how nice these are, just how special they are, really. Like, I mean, you know, anybody that's done any kind of creative stuff when it comes to making things with metal or wood or anything like that, you know, you do have I think a better appreciation for you know, the skill of the craftsman that made whatever it is that you're handling and appreciating, right? Like and in this case, it's this knife, and I have a ton of respect for what he does and the knives that he produces. And you know, the one big thing that really sets him apart from a lot of other guys that are out there making fantastic knives, no criticism to the quality of the knife and the end product, but Lon's doing these knives all in-house, everything. You know, he doesn't send anything out for heat treat. He does it all himself, you know, so he's in control of the entire process from start to finish, which is nice. Like, it's a, you know, there's something to be said about that. It's his name on the knife, right? It's his reputation, his pride, and you know, what he does. It's his craft, right? So it's good to, you know that when you're buying one of these knives, you're getting something that somebody's put their heart and soul, everything into this, you know, to make it and produce what he's producing, right? So there's something special just about that. So any of his knives, you know, you're getting something that he's done himself from start to finish. But like, it's just a beautiful knife. Like I said, though, you know, it's probably not a practical knife for me, and that is not why I got it. I'm sure there's people out there that will look at this knife and go, oh yeah, I'll use this knife. And you could, like, there's no reason why you can't. I'm fortunate enough to have, you know, quite a few knives, and quite a few of Lon's knives that would be better suited for anything that, you know, I would put this to use for. Well, maybe not better suited, but, you know, just to me, I would gravitate towards using them before I would use this. This to me is, it's a fighting knife, right? Like it's got one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to, you know, use offensively. I don't think that, you know, somebody buying this is going to look at this and go, yep, this is a knife that I'm going to, you know, use around a camp or fishing or hunting or anything like that. And it's not to say that you can't use any knife for any purpose pretty much, right? You know, you can put it to work doing all sorts of different things that just won't be as well suited to that task at hand. But yeah, like, wow. Like, it's funny, you know, like I'm making these videos on the fly, not thinking about what I'm saying until I actually start making the video. And what happens when I pull this thing out of the box, like I'm kind of like awestruck by it. So like I lose my train of thought because I'm looking at the knife and I'm looking through the screen on my phone, trying to keep track of where the knife is in reference to, you know, the camera, and making sure that it's being picked up on it. And I'm kind of like going, oh crap, what am I saying? You know, what should I say about this thing? Because I'm so mesmerized by just how beautiful this thing is. Like, it's a work of art. You know, so for anybody that's into this kind of stuff, you know, for collector type purposes and just the appreciation of the knife and what it represents in terms of a piece of art, because that's everything, right? You know, that you unless you're buying something that's mass produced, if somebody's making a handmade knife, that is a piece of art, right? No matter what, it's their art, their creative output, right? Like their hard work, everything that they, you know, envisioned in terms of the design, you know, everything. Like, that's the culmination of all of that into something tangible. So when you're buying this, you're not buying just a knife, you're buying a piece of somebody, in a sense, right? Like, they're, you know, they put a lot of you know, love and effort and pride into what they've done, right? So it reflects on them. And, you know, the fact, like I said, you know, everything that he does in-house. That kind of tells you right there that to me speaks to somebody's pride in what they're creating, right? Like, that's really important to them, you know, that they've maintained control of the entire process to be able to claim ownership to that creative process, right? And the end result. So I cherish these knives. Like, they are very special to me. I get a lot of enjoyment and pleasure out of a knife like this that I probably will never actually use, just simply for, you know, those reasons, and the fact that it's art. Like, that's what it is. It's a piece of art to me. And it's just, yeah, phenomenal. Like, absolutely phenomenal. These are still available. They were released not that long ago at knivesshipfree.com. And yeah, there's a pretty wide selection of handle options. Let me see if I can pull them up here while I'm talking, so that I've got that. There's obviously the desert ironwood, like I have. There are box elder burl, curly maple, and storm maple. I don't know if I can show you on my iPad here, but there's some pretty darn nice examples. So you can go to their website and you can click on, for instance, the box elder burl, and it'll pull up what's available. My internet's a little bit slow. You see something that you like to me, that one looks pretty good. Like, they all look good. Ooh, that one's nice right there. You can click on that, blow the picture up. Like, that's something else. And he does all of the stabilization and dyeing of the woods himself. And the storm maple, that wood there is coming off of his property, I believe, as well. Where we go here, box cylinder, go to storm maple. All my different tabs open, trying to cross-reference oil filters for my tractors, getting them ready for snow clearing season here. So if I remember right, this storm maple is a great big tree that came down on this property that he salvaged and, you know, cured and then stabilized and died. I don't know if, yeah, no, they're died, but they're definitely not, you know, cheap. But when you consider what he's created there and the amount of work and effort that's gone into it and the materials and stuff like that, it's hard to I don't know how he does it for that price, right? Like I dabble a little bit myself with, you know, making some knives that I am not proud enough about to make a video on, but like I understand the amount of money, time, and resources that go into making a knife. Like it's substantial. Like there's no way that me myself, even if I had, you know, some pretty expensive equipment to help streamline the process of manufacturing, could imagine making a knife like this and selling it for the prices that they sell them for and still make a profit. Like it's shocking. And like he's buying like really, really big batches of steel as well, so that his heat treat is dialed in perfectly, you know, for that batch of steel, right? Like you can buy 52-100 and that particular lot of steel may have a slightly different chemistry than the next lot of steel. It's still 52-100, but there might be just ever so slightly more chromium or just whatever, you know, trace alloying elements that are in there that could affect the heat treat enough that, you know, your final hardness could be off by, you know, 0.5 HRC. Not that HRC is the be all and end all, right? But, you know, if you're trying to measure your consistency of your heat treat from batch to batch, and you go make a knife and you heat treat a whole bunch of knives that are coming from that one lot of steel, and you've got everything dialed in and you're getting 61.5 HRC for, you know, your 52-100, and then you go make another batch of knives out of a different lot, and this time you're like, oh crap, this is like 62 or 62.5. That may not be a good thing, or maybe it's 60, right? And that's consistently the same throughout, right? You will want to go back and, you know, tweak your heat treat just to see if you can't get things to the target that you're hoping to get to, right? Maybe something's a little different there. Maybe you, through your research and development of your heat treat, realize that, oh, that's a little too hard, right? Or maybe, you know, that's okay. But yeah, no, it's not a simple thing, and there's a heck of a lot of work and knowledge and expertise that goes into making these things that I think the average person really doesn't appreciate. So, you know, a knife like this, looking at what it is and what goes into making it, for me is quite a thing to wrap my head around. It's like, holy smokes, you know. So, you know, it's a lot of money, but what you're getting is, like, to me, should be worth way more money than that. But I mean, of course, you know, it would be hard to sell, but I think they're worth, like, honestly, a knife like that, considering what it is, I think it's worth 5 times that, or should be, but then we'd never be able to afford to buy it, or very few of us would be. So yeah, if you like this, check it out, knivesshipfree.com. I don't think they're sold anywhere else other than, of course, his website, and I don't know what he's got on there, if any, now. Typically, when he releases any knives, he releases all of the woods and stuff like that to Knives Ship Free, and then on his website he'll offer the phenolic handles. So he'll offer, you know, different micartas, black micarta, sometimes a maroon micarta, and often they will have liners. And I don't know if he does too many different options in terms of the liners. I think they're usually 1 or 2, maybe like a white liner or a blue liner or something like that. But you know, like for a knife like this, being that it's it's like a showpiece. It's I'm more inclined to go with a wood. Like for a user, there's no question, go with a micarta if you have the option. It's going to take the abuse better for sure. Ironwood is tough. It is brittle. Like if you were going to smack it around or drop it, like if you were to drop this knife, there's a pretty high probability that you're gonna, you know, crack a piece of wood off, right? You certainly wouldn't do that with a micarta handle. So there is that to consider. Like if you're thinking that you're gonna buy a knife, whether it's this knife or another model or something like that, and you're gonna just go out and, you know, just beat on it, right? Don't get the wood handle. Go get the micarta handle, or G10 if, you know, the manufacturer or maker offers it. Like they're gonna stand up to, you know, like a beating a heck of a lot better. Like these do need to be cared for. It's no different than like if you have a rifle and you've got a, you know, two rifles. One rifle has a synthetic stock and another rifle has a wood stock. The synthetic stock rifle is gonna, you know, take being bashed around in the back of a truck or whatever and not get all sorts of dents and dings in the woodwork. And it's the same thing with this. Obviously ironwood is way harder than walnut, you know, or maple, for example. And it will resist indentation a heck of a lot better. But yeah, no, it's a heck of a knife. I don't have a whole lot of stuff going on right now for me in terms of getting out and keeping my mind active and you know, entertaining myself. So knives are always a good fallback, right? Recovering from this darn foot thing is definitely taking its toll, and something like this brings me an immense amount of pleasure and happiness. Just, you know, it's not a bad not a bad vice, I guess you could say. It's considering I don't drink and I don't smoke and I don't waste money on other things. Every once in a while, you know, if I get a new knife and I can share it with you guys, that's the other thing too, you know, like it brings me a lot of joy knowing that, you know, I can make a video of something like this and somebody watching it gets value out of it. So, you know, I really do appreciate anybody watching, you know, when they comment, especially, you know, commenting and telling me what you think, or, and obviously thumbs up if you like it. And if you haven't subscribed, I truly appreciate, you know, any new subscribers, and all my current subscribers. You guys are awesome. So yeah, let me know what you think about this knife in the comments. I read the comments. I try to reply to everybody. If you guys have a suggestion or a request, I try to fulfill those. If I'm not too tied up with other things, I'll try and make a video specific to what somebody asks. I can show you in detail, like, you know, you want a close-up of something. Like, hey, you know, I didn't see this in enough detail. Let me know. I'll try and make a video for you. And yeah, like I said, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.